Hello, and welcome to this explainer. Go ahead and just take a nice deep breath. Let your shoulders drop. Today, we're going to act as your calm, step-by-step guide through what can honestly feel like a pretty stressful process. We are carefully navigating the British Columbia handgun exemption process specifically for 22 LR pistols. Now, you might know the recent changes under Bill C-21 suspended general handgun transfers, but there is actually a very specific quiet pathway that remains open for sport shooters. So let's relax, take our time, and explore this together. We have a really clear, stress-free path to walk today. We'll start with the C-21 exemption clause, move on to the essential prerequisites, talk about choosing your 22 LR handgun, walk through the application steps, and finally, look at finalizing the transfer. Section 1. The C-21 exemption clause. While the recent legislation definitely introduced some complexities, right there in the text of Bill C-21 is a legal beacon of hope designed for the survival of Olympic and Paralympic sports shooting. The exact wording of Section 97.1 is actually very comforting. It clearly states that the freeze does not apply to an individual who is, quote, training, competing, or coaching in a handgun shooting discipline. This isn't a loophole. It is your official, legally sanctioned pathway. Now, the crucial detail is who actually guides you through this. In British Columbia, the provincial sports shooting governing body is the BC Target Sports Association, or BCTSA for short. They act as the bridge for this exemption. They work directly with the chief firearms officer on your behalf so you can purchase appropriate handguns, which for this specific process means strictly .22 caliber pistols. Section 2. Essential prerequisites. Before we even think about filling out forms, let's quietly review the foundational items you absolutely must have in place. First, you need a restricted possession and acquisition license, your RPAL, in good standing. Second, an active membership with the BCTSA. Third, your discipline focus needs to be the 25-meter pistol ISSF program. And lastly, you need the intent to train, compete, or coach. And here's the reassuring part. You only need one of those three. You don't have to be an expert competitor on day one. You simply need a genuine intent to train. I do want to highlight a subtle but really crucial regional distinction here. In British Columbia, the process requires your exemption letter to be entirely specific to the exact make and model of the handgun you're requiring. Alberta uses an open-ended letter for multiple models, but for us here in BC, precision and specificity are absolutely your best friends. Section 3. Choosing your 22 LR handgun. Because local availability is so tight right now, this usually involves looking across the border to the US. But first, a very gentle warning. You must locate and secure your specific handgun before you apply for the exemption letter. The BCTSA notes that BC is not Texas. Local availability is a very real challenge. So take a breath, do your research, and lock down that specific firearm before submitting any forms. When you're looking, there is one golden number you need to remember: 4.17. To remain compliant, the firearm must be strictly .22 LR caliber, and it has to have a minimum barrel length of 4.17 inches, which is exactly 106 millimeters. Even a fraction shorter and it won't be compliant. The good news is there are some beautiful compliant options out there. Any 22 LR handgun classified as restricted on the RCMP firearms reference table with that minimum barrel length is eligible. The Ruger Mark IV Target and the classic Browning Buck Mark Camper both sit at a lovely 5.5 inches. The Walther PPQ-22 has a sleek 4.6-inch barrel, and the GSG 1911 comes in at 5.0 inches. From nice entry-level pieces all the way up to stunning match guns, you definitely have choices. Now, if sourcing one locally sounds daunting, buying from the US is wonderfully simple. You just purchase from a US store, like I Run Guns down in Arizona, and the importer handles all that overwhelming cross-border paperwork for you. They ship it to their Canadian warehouse, and they even carefully pin any extended magazines to a maximum of 10 rounds. They really do make it seamless. Section 4. The application steps. With your firearm selected and prerequisites met, let's just walk through the actual application steps. Step 1, as we mentioned, obtain your RPAL and BCTSA membership. Step 2, email your C-21 exemption form to the BCTSA. And then, we practice patience. It takes about 1 to 2 weeks to get your specific exemption letter back. Step 3, once you have that letter, you finalize your purchase and send the letter to your US importer so they can start the official transfer paperwork. I need to firmly but gently remind you of a major rule from the BCTSA here. No shopping lists.
Please do not send the association a list of handguns you're hoping to find. Only submit the single firearm you have successfully secured and will absolutely transfer. If you send a shopping list, your request will be immediately denied.
Section 5. Finalizing the transfer. You're almost at the finish line now. Step 4. When specifically requested by the RCMP, you'll email your exemption letter to the Chief Firearms Officer. Step 5 is that joyful moment when you receive an email with your transfer approval and registration. Step 6. A few days later, checking your mailbox and finding those official paper registration certificates. And finally, Step 7. The incredibly satisfying moment your new 22LR handgun safely arrives in the mail.
Just to ensure you have absolutely no surprises when you open the C-21 document, here are the exact fields you'll fill out. It's so straightforward. Date and name. Your RPAL and BCTSA member numbers. Your discipline, which again is 25-meter pistol. The make, model, and caliber of your proposed firearm. And finally, your defined need, where you'll just check off training or competition. Keep it simple and perfectly clear. As we wrap up our calm journey today, I want to leave you with a thought. With handgun transfers being so heavily restricted right now, the very survival of this sport relies on dedicated people choosing to train and pass on these skills. So how will you continue to protect and participate in the survival of Olympic and Paralympic target sports in Canada? Thank you so much for taking this quiet, focused time with us today. If you found the video interesting, please like and subscribe.